Hello, math friends. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can solve equations with fractions. Fractions, all your friends. Super fun stuff. So let's take a look at an equation that has some fractions in it. I might have something like 4 and have it equal to 2/3 x, a fraction, plus 1.5. Okay, and I need to solve this equation. Friends, this is just like all the other equations that you've solved. You are already equation superstars, okay? This is going to be the same gig. We're going to draw a line on our equals. We're going to look at the two operations. We have multiplication and addition. Usually we would do addition last, so we shall get rid of it first. We want to get the variable all by itself when we solve equations, okay? So here we have it. We subtract 1 1/2 from both sides, because if we do something to one side of the equation, as long as we do it to the other, it stays balanced and equal, so these cancel. And I'm left over here with my 2/3 x. It's getting closer to being alone, equals 4 minus 1 1/2. Well, 4 minus 1 is 3, and minus another half would give me 2 1/2. So now I have my variable x times 2/3. If I want to get the variable alone, I need to move this multiply by 2/3. So I would do the inverse operation, which would be divide by 2/3. But we have to remember, have that little light bulb go off in our head that, hey, wait a second. When I divide by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So actually, then I can just move over here and say, oh yeah, I want to take 2 1/2 times the reciprocal, 3/2. And then I could go ahead and change this to an improper fraction, which would be 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1, 5/2 times 3/2. Now I just use my good multiplication. I multiply straight across. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 2 is 4. How many 4s are there in 15? There are 3. Which would give me 12, and then that means 15 minus 12 gives me 3 left over. So my answer is that x is going to equal 3 3/4. There's my solution to my equation. Okay, and now, of course, like all good mathematicians would do, I'm going to check, especially when I'm dealing with stuff like fractions, because I want to make sure I didn't make any silly computation errors. So I'm going to fill in 3 3/4. So I have 2/3 times, and I'm just going to go ahead and change this to the improper fraction, which, remember what it is, 15/4. It was already done for me back in the problem. And I'm going to add 1 1/2, and if I am a superstar, I will end up with an answer of 4, right? So I go by order of operations this time. I go ahead and multiply. I'm going to reduce my fractions here first by dividing out a 2 from the top and the bottom. Now I multiply across. 1 times 15 is 15, and 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 1/2. So now how many 6s are there in 15? How many groups of 6? There are 2 with 3 left over, so I end up with 2 3 6. Ooh, that's the same as 2 1/2. And so I'm left with 2 1/2 plus 1 1/2. What's 2 plus 1? 3. 1/2 1/2 gives me 4. What am I? You got it. I'm a math superstar. Superstar. That's what I am. Ooh. Good stuff. So I now can solve equations with fractions, solve them just like we did before, but just add on your super smart fraction knowledge. The solution to this one again would be x is equal to 3 3/4. See you later, friend.